Hey ladies, Solitary Witch here, Mistress of Divorce and the Huntress. So today we're going to go over strategies of war. So last Tuesday we did the first three. Let's do a real quick recap. So the first fundamental was look at things as they are. So basically accept things for what they are and move accordingly. The next one was judge people by their actions, which is self-explanatory. People always come in with a lip service, but what are they doing? And also, this is for you to look at yourself. Are you just always delivering lip service, or are you actually putting action behind all that talking you're doing, right? And then the other one, number 3, was depend on your own arms. This is when I got into depending on your intuition and your intelligence. And basically depending on your mental prowess and utilizing strategies after observing the situation and taking the emotions out of it. Okay, that's just a quick recap. If you want the full video for all three, you're gonna have to go back, and it's last week, so it won't be hard to find. So click that little plus sign and subscribe, and let's get into it. So what we're doing today is, real quick, what I'm going to start doing is, it's 6 fundamentals. And so I did the first 3. So over the next 3 weeks, I'm going to wrap up the last 3. So I'm going to do number 4 today. The next week I'll do number 5. And then the week after I'll do number 6. And then we'll move into more strategies. Okay. But I just want to do the fundamentals first. So number 4 fundamental is worship Athena and not Aries. Now, Aries is the Greek god of war, right? But with Aries, it's when he goes to war, when that energy is going to war, it's more brutal. It's just destruction, right? And hey, don't get me wrong, sometimes that's needed. But when we're dealing with our lives and we're dealing with that war within ourselves, and then also dealing with that war that's outside of us, or the conflict that's inside of us and the conflict that's outside of us, we don't want to do it as Aries, right? We want to do it as Athena. Athena is the Greek goddess of wisdom and war strategy, right? And this is actually the goddess that I identify with when I was doing the work on myself. Well, I continue to do the work on myself, but when I started dealing with what is my archetype, I really connected with the energy of Athena. Okay, so when we say worship Athena, not Aries, when we say worship, we're not saying in the sense of, worshiping somebody, right? We don't want to worship anything outside of us. So let's keep that in mind, ladies. Worship yourself, right? So when we say worship Aries and not Athena, what this is basically saying is utilize the strategies of Athena. Athena was a thinker, and thinking is actually the realm of the feminine. So just thought I'd throw that in there. So what you want to do is you want to utilize mental, intellectual, right? So you want to approach conflict in those manners. Like, you don't, and I've said this before, you don't want to go into it strictly using your emotions. Emotions is good. I look at emotions as, this is my strategy. I look at emotions as, okay, this is what's going on right now. If I respond in this, if I make this particular move, this is how it's going to affect me emotionally, or this is how it's going to affect my children. Okay, I understand that. That's been established. But now, how am I going to implement what it is I need to do? In order for me to do that, I can't be clouded by my emotions. I can't be clouded about my own emotions, or even how my children are going to feel emotionally, because children are just these emotional beings anyway. They have to work at understanding, applying logic, and all of these things, right? But that's another conversation for another day. So what I want to do is, I want to look at this logically. I want to look at this intellectually. I want to utilize my mental prowess in order to solve this, in order to gain remedy, right? So your emotions is that energy in motion. It's that, we could look at it as that drive, right? but your intellect and your reasoning and logical capabilities is what's going to get you there, right? So we do utilize our emotions, but like I said, it's not, you don't use it to make the decision. So when we say we're dealing with that energy of Athena, Athena was a strategist, right? Excuse me. She was a strategist, a war strategist. And war is conflict, right? So we deal with that conflict within ourselves, and then we take that same work that we've done to resolve those issues within ourselves, and we take it and we use it outwardly, right? So ladies, this is applying to you because we are, you know how they always say, women are so emotional. They're so emotional. Okay. Well, yeah, because we represent the feminine. We represent water, and we know what water represents emotion, right? But even with that, we are naturally wired for emotional regulation. See, a lot of women don't know that about themselves. But again, I don't want to keep going off on tangents, y'all. So basically, what you want to do is, like I said before, you want to approach this as how Athena would, as opposed to Aries, right? And Athena, she is going to observe things, that energy. She's going to observe things for how they are. She accepts things as they are. And then she says, okay, this is what I want to do. This is the outcome. This is the end goal. What am I going to do to get there? Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to accept. Acceptance is a big thing, and I talked about this before. I'm going to accept what it is I'm looking at. The situation is what it is. So what am I going to do to get myself out of it? So I'm going to, like I said before, I'm going to look at, okay, how is this going to affect me emotionally? If I do this, I'm going to be affected this way emotionally. If I do that, I'm going to be affected this way emotionally. However, this particular solution works better than this one. This is going to give me the outcome that I want, even though I have to deal with the emotional aspect of it. How is this going to affect my children? They're going to be affected. But what makes common logical sense? What is going to get me out of this, right? So this is how we have to start thinking, ladies. You got to take your emotions out of it when you're making a very important decision. I know your heart goes out to your children, but you're going to have to put that on the back burner and focus in, be uber focused, laser focused, and come approach this situation with logic, right? I hope this helps. The biggest thing that I always want you ladies to take away from is emotions is energy in motion. It's the drive, but your logic is what's going to get you there, right? So that's the biggest takeaway. And that's why I used that fundamental of worship Athena and not Aries, okay? Because most of the time, women, we on some Aries shit, right? We're doing everything based on emotions. You want to get out of that, okay? So that's it. I'll be back next week with the next fundamental. Deuces. Oh, like and subscribe. Follow. All right.